this is my second interaction with you. I remember the first interview with you was a written one, and you are somebody who has grip over the entire Asian market. Right? You have seen the Singapore market, the Chinese market, and you know the Indian market as well. Now, my question here is that how different do you see both these markets are? Because why I'm asking this question is a lot of agencies now are thinking to expand, Indian agencies expand to the Asian market, right? Because Asian market is a more product-driven market, which I see. What's your thought on this? And
Right. I think in Asia as such, Southeast Asia, China, and its surroundings, each of the markets is very, very different. It's like Europe. What works in Spain doesn't work in Italy, doesn't work in England. It's very much like that for us. Each one of the markets is very, very different. Therefore, you have to be local. And I think that's the key thing that you learn, which is part of the YNR philosophy, of which YNR Brands is our holding company, our holding alignment company, right, where we are a global boutique. And David Sable, who's our CEO out of New York, he often says that what we really want to do is to have a global process, a global approach, but be very local specific where each of the markets is concerned. And that's true for us even in digital. The kind of platforms that are going on in China, very different from what's working in India, very different from what's going on in Southeast Asia. So for any Indian company that has aspirations to go beyond India's borders, it will be all about local insights. It will be all about local insights plus a very good understanding of local channels.
Any interesting campaigns that you think has been very close on the Asian side,
right,
which has been focused on the Asian market, which you want to share and talk about?
Sure. I think one key one is right out of India with ICICI Bank. This year, about a month and a half back, we rolled out one of Asia's first social banks. And what that means is it was born out of a premise of understanding that people don't trust their banks or what their banks say. They trust what their friends say about these banks. So what we did with ICICI Bank was to make it a social bank. So when you go to the bank site and you are logged in through Facebook Connect, you will be able to see any activities that your friends have on the bank site. So if they are liking a particular product or they're leaving comments on a particular product or disliking a product, you therefore get validation of what the bank is claiming vis-a-vis what your friends are saying. Similarly, we also created Pockets, ICICI Pockets, which is a Facebook and mobile app targeted at Gen Y, which is about functionality that only these youngsters want. Things like if you go to a restaurant, splitting your bill right there and then and being able to pay it, being able to buy movie tickets, being able to recharge your phone, and so on. So ICICI was one of the key things that I was very proud of what we've done this year. We've also been doing some really interesting work in Indonesia for MyZone. And one of the most interesting campaigns we did recently was for MyZone, a drink called Aqua.
Yeah.
For MyZone itself. And what we did was we created real-time content on the fly. So essentially, over a 24-hour period, we invited 2 artists into a IT cafe in Jakarta. And all you had to do was through Twitter send in a tweet with a specific hashtag, and they would doodle something around what you had sent and send it back to you. It trended in Indonesia that day, and the kind of work that we've created out of that is really, really phenomenal. So some very cool work out there on that campaign.
You had a social media command center during the football, World Cup football that was going on. I want to know more about it and what was the idea and how did it happen?
Yeah.
What's the story behind it?
Sure. So we've been pioneering, VML has pioneered the idea of a command center since quite some time. We've created it first for Gatorade out of the US,
Right.
where essentially there is a room which is equipped with all these phenomenal looking monitors. It looks from a sci-fi movie really, where you're seeing all kinds of visualization of data and insights on the fly. So it plugs in social listening, it plugs in campaign data, it plugs in website traffic, and their own channels data. And what it does is, we've of course got visualization software that we've written that allows you to see all kinds of conversations that are happening around the brand, around things that affect the brand, and things that matter to us from a brand perspective, right? Because Gatorade, for example, is about for sports, hardcore sports enthusiasts, right? So we have a certain universe that we are mapping constantly. We've taken that further with quite a few brands. You're right, for the World Cup, we did it in China.
Right.
To listen to the conversations and participate in the conversations. Typically, the command center allows us to gain so much insights that insight can be fed to product development, to customer service, to HR, to the entire organization really. And what it allows us to do is to take customers speak and what they are saying about us to their friends and to us and internalize that in a way that's actionable. And we've done the same thing for many, many brands.